You see the videos on YouTube. Hustle harder, just keep going. If you want it bad enough, you'll figure it out. And that advice sounds tough. It sounds motivating. And sometimes it may even work for a little while. But if hustle alone created great businesses, most small business owners wouldn't be exhausted, stressed, or quietly questioning whether this was all worth it. So today, I want to reset how hustle actually fits into building a business and why grinding harder doesn't always lead to the results you need. Hi, I'm Matt. I've spent over 25 years building companies as a serial entrepreneur and helping small business owners navigate challenges and avoid costly mistakes. Welcome to the channel. I strive to answer the questions all business owners have using real-world, practical experience. Let me know how I can help. Before we go any further, I want to be absolutely clear about something. This is not an anti-hustle video. I'm going to assume that if you're watching this, you're a small business owner that's already working hard, probably harder than most people around you. Long hours, late nights, weekends, you carry stress that nobody else sees. And anyone that knows me will tell you, I love to work hard too. Now, hustle absolutely has a place, especially early on in a business. Sometimes working harder is the right move. Sometimes effort is the only thing you can control. The problem starts when hustle stops being a phase and quietly becomes the strategy. When just work harder becomes the automatic answer to every problem out there, your stress goes up, you get burned out, you feel behind, and you feel overwhelmed. That's the real challenge I'm addressing today, because effort without direction doesn't build momentum. You're just burning energy. And most struggling business owners aren't lazy. They're just exhausted from pushing in all the wrong places. Hustle culture is attractive because it gives you a simple rule. If things aren't working, work harder. And in a weird way, that's kind of comforting, especially early on in a business. Effort is controllable. I mean, you can always push just a little more. You can always find another hour. But hustle culture also rewards effort publicly. Being busy looks productive, long hours look committed, and sacrifice looks noble. The problem is, none of that guarantees you're building towards something that actually works. Putting your head down and grinding only works if you are already facing the right direction. Here is where hustle culture can quietly start doing damage. Hard work alone can't mask broken systems. It can delay hard decisions, and it can make bad business models survive just long enough to hurt you. I've seen owners working 60, 70 hours a week, not because the business is growing, because they're just propping it up with personal effort. And sometimes, the more you grind, the harder it becomes to see the real issues. Pricing that's too low, processes that don't scale, customers that demand too much, or maybe a role that you should have delegated months ago. Hustle becomes the substitute for fixing what's broken. The cost of hustle culture isn't just burnout. It's what it quietly takes from you over time. When just work harder becomes the default answer, something always pays the price. More hours usually mean less time with family, less time just unplugged, less time to recover and think and reset. And all that stuff matters because nobody makes their best decisions when they're just exhausted. When you're constantly pushing, everything feels urgent. You react instead of plan. Maybe you take on work you shouldn't just to keep the cash coming in. Your margins can shrink, your stress compounds, and eventually, the business starts demanding more than it really gives back. I think it's important that we all remember downtime isn't laziness, it's maintenance. It's where perspective comes from. It's where better decisions actually form. And without it, hustle stops being productive and starts being expensive. Once you understand that cost, the conversation shifts from how hard you're working to whether you're aimed in the right direction. Here's the mindset most business owners need. Effort is not the only problem. Direction is. Let's say I give you a bow and a quiver of arrows, and I tell you to hit the target. Now you can fire off all of the arrows you have as fast or as hard as you can. Keep going, unlimited arrows. But if you don't know what or where the target is, you're never going to hit it. Sustainable businesses are built by making fewer but better decisions. They're creating systems that don't rely on heroics and designing work so that progress doesn't require constant sacrifice. Now, this doesn't mean working less. It means working intentionally. The goal isn't just to grind harder. The goal is to make effort compound instead of just kind of leak. And good decisions beat raw effort every time. If you're not sure whether hustle is helping or hurting, take a quick reality check. What breaks in my company if I step away for an hour or maybe a day? Where am I the bottleneck? Am I busy because it's required or because it's familiar? What problems am I avoiding by just staying busy? Do I have a clear target and a roadmap? The answer to those questions usually tell you whether more effort will actually move the business forward or just keep it running in circles. Hustle can get a business started. It can get you through hard seasons, and sometimes it's exactly what's required. But if hustle is the only tool you're using, it'll eventually cost you something. Your health, your family, or maybe even the business itself. Real progress comes from pairing effort with clarity and direction, from building systems instead of relying on heroics, and from making better decisions, not just more sacrifices. This channel isn't about working less. Definitely not. And it's also not about taking shortcuts. I want you to build something that works, but without burning yourself into the ground in the process. Thanks for tuning in. If this was helpful, you can like, subscribe, and drop a comment, or send me an email. I may answer it in a future episode. Now, let's slow down. Take a breath. You've got this. All right. What's next?